Welcome to the Headley Highlight Show's Headley Headspaces. The Headspaces are a series of thoughts and musings I have during the course of the week, and I chew all over them and I bring them to you. And this week's Headspace is called Jeffrey Goldberg in the Signal WhatsApp group with security chiefs J.D. Vance and the subsequent leak. Was it really an accident he was in that group? So before I jump into the headspace, I'd like to say thank you to all of the people who've subscribed to my new YouTube channel, or who've popped over to my website, or who engaged with any of my content this week. These bits from my live show are cut up and put into shorts, and they're getting good traction. So please continue to like and share. And don't forget, you can jump into the live show every Friday, 8 p.m. GMT, 3 p.m. Eastern Time on X. So let's just look at this story with the security leak, with the editor of a newspaper in a WhatsApp group discussing national security issues. First of all, let me tell you what I think, okay? This story stinks like saltfish, okay? Yeah? You know when you're boiling it in the kitchen and the whole kitchen is smelling and it's seeping into the hallway? That's how this story smells. It smells like the creeping aroma of salted cod being boiled out on the stove. There is no way that I'm buying that the editor of a paper who is a strong supporter of the Zionist agenda, he worked for the IDF, and he's written for several pro-Zionist supporting presses. He was accidentally put in a WhatsApp group discussing issues about national security. As I understand it, he received an invitation from somebody called Mike Waltz, the security advisor to Donald Trump. And then the group starts to discuss very frank views about Europe. There's absolutely no love lost there. And like I said, I don't think von der Leyen will be getting an invitation to sit down and have tea and custard creams with Mr. Trump. That I don't think is going to be happening before she gets her drawdown in her pension. So Mike Waltz invites Jeffrey Goldberg into the WhatsApp group. And sorry, it's not WhatsApp, it's called a Signal group. It's got encrypted messaging. And then they start discussing, or should I say discussions are being held about which targets are being used, how many weapons are going to be deployed, what the possibility is of particular types of civilian casualties. All this is being discussed. And then he takes it and he basically publishes it and uses it to shame Trump. Now, my thinking is this. There's no way you're going to tell me that this person was put into this group accidentally. No, these accidental, suggestions that we need to believe that are in themselves accidentally stupid. You cannot put the editor of a magazine or a publication in a WhatsApp group with some of the most highest levels of American political establishment. You've got Trump in there, you've got the director of the CIA, you've got people having different J.D. Vance is in there, and you're telling me he went in there by accident. Mike Waltz did it by accident. I tell you what, if I was Trump, Waltz would be sacked, 100%. You would be sacked, okay? Because what that to me has done is actually damaged the reputation of the presidency. You've got people now making reference to them as stupid and buffoons. And this is a cultural idea that we have in the UK about the Americans anyway, that they're stupid. And that's been promulgated in every single news commentator who's talked about this story ever since. I personally think he was deliberately put in there to undermine Trump. How can you be the security advisor and then you put someone into an encrypted messaging service discussing military deployments? You don't deserve your job. Because even at the most basic level, you couldn't keep the presidency and the office of the presidency secure. 2, don't tell me this was an accident. This man is a very strong supporter of the pro-Zionist Israeli project. So it can't be an accident because let's face it already, we know that Trump has already been captured by the Israel lobby, AIPAC in America. That was what the point of bombing the Houthis were, because the Houthis were not attacking British ships. They weren't attacking American ships. They were only attacking Israeli ships. So then America rocks up and bombs them because that's what America does. It constantly bats for Israel. So I don't think it was a mistake he was there. I think he was planted there. I think he was planted to damage the presidency of the president and also to make him look stupid in light of the negotiations that are being had, because people can then say, okay, well, look, you know, he doesn't even know how to manage this small event here. I'm not trying to diminish it, but in comparison to what's happening in the Ukraine, you know, he doesn't really even know how to deal with that. And therefore, that idea and that confidence about a leader's ability starts to set in. So I'm not buying this argument that it was an accident and it was, by some strange circumstance, he ended up in a group discussing the deployments. And since that time, people are saying that the individuals around Trump are inept. They have little or no interest in Europe and its partners. And also, it didn't, one of the things I thought was interesting was there was no reason for bombing the Houthis that was even given in this group. The big conversation is about the security leak, not the fact that America went and bombed the Houthis, despite the fact that there was a ceasefire and they were upholding it. So that's my 2 pence on the security leak with Mike Waltz and Jeffrey Goldberg. Are you with me on that, or do you have a different opinion? Give me your thoughts, your 2 pence, your 3 cities, or your declining dollar price. Don't forget to like, share, retweet, and comment on my regular political thoughts and musings. You can catch me at denisehedley.com at my website. Or you can come to my live show, which is on X every Friday at 8 p.m, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. You can also make a donation and you can get me rice, peas and oxtail with salad and coleslaw from my local Caribbean shop. Or you can get me free wings and chips from my local chicken shop with a Miranda. Or you could just come back next week, which is great. Or you could like, retweet and share, which is better. Or you might want to do all of the above. So have a good week and I'll catch you all next week and cut!